What? A new patch for BG3? Already? Freaking insane. So, here we are again, only a few weeks after patch 4, and as last time, I'm here to bring you some of the changes from the full changelog you may have missed. Sweet, merciful Larian did not leave me with a 500-page thesis paper this time, so I could actually get through the changelog pretty quick. And I have. I've gone through the entire thing, and there's definitely things in there you may want to know about. If you haven't read anything about patch 5, there are plenty of cool things to discover. Astarion's romance has been fixed from what I understand. You can finally loot Orin's outfit. There's even a whole new epilogue section to the game's ending. At least that's what the changelog claims. I haven't explored the new ending stuff myself since I've been working on this video. But enough whetting your appetite, and let's get to the main course. Oh, and as usual, there will be a few spoilers, though they're mostly confined to Acts 1 and 2. Starting off with one of the most important changes to the game, and an absolute banger. Do you recognize this sexy lady? Minthara. She's the Dark Elf Paladin who you encounter in Act 1, who can be dealt with in a number of ways. She can be killed, allied with, even become a romance partner. But having her in the party was always contingent on helping her massacre a bunch of innocent people, or just ignoring the whole thing to let those people die, and then run into her later in Act 2. Notice how I said was. No more, Larian says. Minthara for everybody, hear hear. If you knock her out in Act 1, you can run into her again in Act 2 now. I had to speed run the footage here, because as it turns out, on my save from like 150 hours ago is when I killed Minthara, so she is definitely not alive. Hence, this reaction. Oh, please tell me I didn't kill her. This is not looking good. Oh, come on! Oh man, freaking do all that shit again. God. So, instead of starting off where I could actually like test this out, I had to create a new save file aptly named lol. And then deal with all the goblin leaders, and then skedaddle to Moonrise Towers as quickly as possible. I can't show you the rest of this because Minthara is a little underdressed throughout the entire time.
I will not be slandered! General, you saw my reports. You know it's not my fault.
The facts suggest otherwise.
Maybe a lot underdressed. In fact, she is completely naked. Probably because I looted everything she had on her after I knocked her out. So yeah, just take my word for it that it works properly now. And you can definitely get Minthara as a good person or whatever. Pretty cool change, and one often requested, and a change that was even like developed into a mod to add this exact behavior before. Side note, Minthara had a bunch of different appearances throughout the EA. This one looks like David Bowie to me. Which one is your favorite? I kind of like her original appearance, but the release version is pretty cool, and I think that's probably my overall favorite. And the one from, I think, EA3 is pretty good too. Anyway, let me know in the comments. But yeah, Minty is now free to recruit for all of you noble paladin bros, or villains, or whatever, you know. Next two are kind of a big deal balance-wise. First, Larian nerfed and fixed Tavern Brawler when it comes to throwing items. The previous behavior was that it applied bonuses incorrectly, stacking them multiple times, and that has been refactored, kind of. The damage is now applied correctly, and if you were the min-maxing kind, Tavern Brawler Throwbarian was one of the most busted combinations to get huge damage, consistently so, as early as level 4. I'm surprised it took Larian this long to finally address the issue, but I'm glad that they did. Unfortunately, that's what I would like to say. Actually testing it out, it still appears that Tavern Brawler incorrectly adds bonus damage when you're equipped with certain items that boost thrown damage. Without those items, it does work as expected. The second balance change is that knocking out traders doesn't let you steal their entire inventory anymore. This was a pretty sneaky exploit that you could knock people out, steal their stuff, and then proceed as if nothing happened after a long rest because they would get back up and still be fine. Effective, but I can see why this was changed. It definitely didn't feel like intended behavior. What happens now is that once a seller is knocked out, you will only be able to access a limited portion of their inventory, just like if you already killed them. The fourth change is that you can no longer cheese Mizora in killing Karlach, getting a reward then resurrecting Karlach to have, well, Karlach. From what I understand, this was an exploit I've seen some people use to get a pretty cool robe, I think it was a robe anyway, for Wyll while keeping Karlach alive, sort of. I'm still not entirely sure how Mizora can cancel the judgment sequence if Karlach gets revived, as per the changelog. Testing it out, I couldn't get Mizora to spawn after killing Karlach, so after long resting like 10 times in a row I just gave up. At least I got to see my character making goofy ass faces to make up for it. But yeah, I've only seen videos of this being done, and since I couldn't replicate it, do let me know in the comments if this actually works as intended now, or maybe there's some way around it. The fifth and final change is actually 2 changes. I rolled them into 1, plus 5 changes sounds better than 6 changes. Both are pretty minor, but nice to have in their own little way. The first one is that Wyll won't be perpetually running around with an exclamation point above his head. This really irked me throughout Acts 2 and 3, though it didn't really affect anything game-wise, it still bothered me. And it was only Wyll that was afflicted with this punctuation-related malady. No more, thanks to the efforts of Dr. Larian. And finally, you can now sell and barter items inside of containers. Not a huge change, mind, but it is a very welcome one. When you're collecting a ton of loot you don't care about, and you don't want to sword, like swords and like just random crap, it's really annoying having to take it out of the inventory first, like placing it into your own inventory and then selling it off. Now you can just place it in a container, take it to a merchant, and sell from the container directly. It's easier item management, and anything that makes item management less of a headache in BG3 is a great change in my opinion. I've even made a video about the horrors of item management late game. 5 things, technically 6, but 5 things, and that's my list. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for sticking around. Go check out patch 5, it's pretty cool. As always, feel free to leave your thoughts and comments in the comments. I do read and treasure them. That's it for me though. See you in the next one. Bye.
You've picked up a few pleasant memories on your journey. You sleep alone.